If you're a shed dealer that is consistently putting out quotes, but seeing little return in closed deals, working harder all the time and just not seeing that needle of sales move up, then I've got something that you might be interested in. And it's something that dealers are starting to do, successful dealers are starting to do, and it makes a huge difference in their work to return ratio, making more money and not working as hard. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but hear me out and I'll explain this. A few years ago in my own shed business, I would meet people at the lot, talk to them on the phone, and engage their interest, answer the questions, and get them their quote sent to them to only like later never hear back. Okay. It was super frustrating to me. I knew something had to get fixed. I knew it had to get fixed fast. So what I did changed everything from going from a 10% close rate to all the way up to 66% close rate. And what that meant was that out of every 10 quotes I sent, 6 of them were purchases. So I knew when I was sending out quotes, I could just do the math. How many quotes did I send out this week? And 66% of that is going to come back and be a sale. And it just worked like clockwork. And just to explain this just a little bit further, here's Terrell, who was in a similar situation. He was selling metal buildings, and he would be out quoting all the time. Yeah, he would spend his days doing it, and he'd make very little back in sales. He was ready to give up. And not only that, his expenses kept rising, and he had little to no money left to pay on his credit card. And being a grandfather and father of 4, he had to make a change, and he had to make a change fast. So when I met up with Terrell, he shared his story with me, and I knew that there was a way that if he could just have a proper follow-up system, that would change everything for him. And so what we did when Terrell started working with us, we put him into our follow-up system. We wanted to see how this is going to help him. And previous to this time, he would go through a month and make only 2 sales a month. Okay, just 2 sales a month. That's not sustainable. So when we started putting him in through the follow-up system, we didn't change anything else. He was still running his same ads. He was still talking to the same market. He was still sending out the same quote. All right. But we put him through the follow-up system that we set up for him. And in the first 2 weeks, he made his first 2 sales. And a few days later, he was on to his 4th sale. And into the 3rd week, he was already up to 6 sales. And by the end of the month, he was already pushing 10 sales. All right. He went from 2 to 10 without changing anything. That's how powerful this is. Same ad spend, same market, same quotes, but now he's closing more deals. And what he told me is that now he says he could go camping with his grandchildren on a weekend, and now he can rest easy because he knows like he's getting revenue, he's getting payback for the effort he's putting in to all these quotes. He doesn't have to now worry about how he's going to pay his next bill. He can go camping and have a peace of mind knowing that his metal building business is producing the income that it needs. And it gave him a whole new perspective on being excited about this metal building industry. He was thinking that nobody was buying and it was all just a big waste of time. And now he knows that there actually is money in this industry as long as there was a proper follow-up system in place. And it doesn't only work for Terrell. There's another shed dealer. His name is Ivan. And when we met for the first time, Ivan had a shed lot that was moving very little inventory buildings. It was selling so little that the company he was selling for was threatening to pull his dealership away, leaving him with nothing to go back to. So he was worried about losing his dealership. He was frustrated with the amount of sales he was making because he was putting in countless hours. I mean, this guy was working from Monday to Saturday, all the hours that he could fit in. He'd go to his lot, he'd meet people, he'd put quotes together, and the same story, he would never hear back from them. And try as he might, there's nothing he could do to get those quotes to return with a closed deal. super frustrating. Ivan's in his mid-50s. He didn't have anything else, other job to go to. If this one was to fail, he didn't know what he was going to do. And when I met Ivan, I worked together with him to put him in our proper follow-up system. So he was still sending the same quotes. He was still going to the lot the same times. He was still working the same hours. But instead of not hearing back from people, he started now getting people to respond to his quotes. And then he started getting them to close deals. All right. Huge difference being able to, like, he was happy. He's happy working those hours as long as he can make the revenue that he needed. And what he told me later, in a month, he made more sales than he made in an entire 3-month period. That's a quarter of a year in 1 month. So the company he was selling for, they came to him and said, hey, can we put more buildings on your lot? Because you're selling so well, can we put more buildings? So he went from having his dealership almost getting closed to all of a sudden now adding more inventory stock, giving him more opportunities to sell, making his sales lot more attractive, bringing in the revenue that made running his dealership worth it. He told me later that he went from being depressed to now being excited about running this business. And that's what I hear from dealer after dealer, that the market isn't buying and people are not interested and people are just tire kickers, and the government is doing this or the government's not doing that, or too much competition. And out of all of that, the dealers that I've worked with, what I have found is that having a follow-up system is where the revenue is made. Not changing anything else in their business, but being able to have a proper follow-up system in place, something that is out there working, grinding, doing hard lifting, and making that sales engagement happen time and time again. And with that, the revenue is there to prove it. And here's why I need to tell you this now. If you're sitting on a bunch of quotes, hard work, effort that you've put into putting quotes out there, if you're sitting on a list of leads, a pile of quotes, you have the potential to make multiple thousands of dollars, or you have the potential to lose multiple $1,000s. And this is why it's so critical to understand this, is if you do the same thing that you've been doing, you are giving that opportunity of those quotes to be sold to your competition. All right? It's going to happen because the shed buyer is looking for a shed. They are going to buy a shed. And if they're not going to buy it from you, they're going to buy it from the competition. So if you've put effort into putting quotes out there and you've got a list of leads and you're getting leads, then this is your opportunity to recoup all of that effort and put that money right back into your pocket. Now has never been a better time. The competition who has a follow-up system in place, they're the ones that are going to get that sale. Guaranteed. I want to make sure that you're not missing out on this opportunity, because that opportunity should be yours. You've put the money, the resources, the effort into attracting those leads, into making up those quotes, and creating that awesome customer experience. You deserve to have that money come back in return. And just like in Ivan's case, what took him 3 months of time, he made that same amount of sales in a 1-month period. And just like Terrell, he couldn't go camping without feeling the pressure of not paying for his bills, knowing that he's got credit card bills that are overdue and they're racking up interest charges. He couldn't go out and enjoy camping with his grandkids. So he went from that to now being able to breathe easy, put the work in through the week, but breathe easy on the weekends. And huge mind shift change for him. He was more present with his grandkids, more present with his life, and he looked at the whole industry as a viable business. And so this opportunity is sitting right there in your leads, in your quotes that you own right now. Now's the time to turn all that effort, all those quotes, into sales, putting that money back in your pocket. If this sounds like something that you would like to take advantage of, and you would like me to look into your shed business to see where your opportunities are, so I invite you to book a call with me, and I can look into your business and see what type of leads you have, where the quotes have been stalling, and how a follow-up system can work for you. There's no pressure to you on this call. This is just my way of offering services to you as a dealer, because I've been in your shoes. I know what it feels like. And I know that when you can see from what I see on this side about what kind of returns are there, then I know that this could be a dynamic, life-changing call for you, where it's putting this energy and effort that you've put into your business, putting that money right back into your pocket, and the opportunities are there. But I have to be able to, look at your business to see where it's at and if on the call, this looks like this makes sense for you, then we can discuss what it looks like getting you set up into a proper follow-up system, bringing all those old quotes, closing those deals, and bringing that revenue back into your pocket. So let's have the conversation first to see if it makes sense. So book the call on the link below or around this video, and I'll see you there.